Well, hello there, jazz fans. My name is Tom Manuel, coming to you live from the Jazz Loft in Stony Brook Village with my good friend Steve Salerno on the guitar.
Thank you, Tom.
And this is a very special concert that we are recording especially for all of the patrons of the Sachem Public Library. And the library has a very special place in my heart. It was several decades ago. They gave me my first gig ever. Can you imagine that? So here we are many years later and just trying to send a little joy and fun your way. Steve and I are going to just pick a bunch of tunes that we know and love and chat about them a bit and play them for you. But this one is a song that goes back to 1939. At least it was recorded in 39 quite iconically by a wonderful, wonderful saxophonist by the name of Coleman Hawkins. And this tune, and especially the way Mr. Hawkins performed it, absolutely redirected the trajectory and the direction of jazz to come. So this is Body and Soul. Wow, that's a pretty tune.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tune.
Man, that's something.
Big hit for Coleman Hawkins back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah, when
Yeah.
jazz was popular music.
that's right. So cool how he always stayed with the young new voices.
Yeah.
You know, you always hear that, how he was always hanging with the cats that were doing something new. You know?
Even the
All those-
beboppers.
Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna do a little Bill Evans tune for you now. Steve and I were talking about Bill Evans before and his incredible position in those outstanding Miles Davis ensembles in the 1950s. He was an incredibly gifted composer as well as a performer. And this is a fun little tune that he wrote, and it's called Perry's Scope. Perry's Scope. And 1, 2, and 1, 2, That's a fun little tune.
It is. It's tricky.
Do you remember he wrote that for someone? Right?
Yeah, someone named Perry. I forget which Perry it was.
But then I heard too that he was rather well known for saying that he wrote a tune for someone, and then time would pass, and someone else would come around, and he'd say that he wrote the tune for them, and he think he recycled them a few times.
Yeah, he did write them for different girlfriends and stuff. So I don't know.
Right?
If this, I don't know who this was written for actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting guy. Well, we're gonna go a little back here and play an old tune for you that was written in 1930. And this is absolutely from the Great American Songbook, Tin Pan Alley heyday of jazz on Broadway and in the movies and every place else for that matter. And it's a tune that was written by Sammy Fain, and it was in a Paramount picture called The Big Pond. And the tune is called You Brought a New Kind of Love to Me. That's a fun little tune, isn't
It's
it?
a great tune.
That's a fun tune. The great little words too.
Yes, wonderful lyrics.
Yeah, wonderful, cool. So Steve has brought this incredibly beautiful acoustic Gibson. Tell me a little bit about your axe there, Steve.
Well, this is a 1936 Gibson L Four, and made in Kalamazoo, Michigan, back in the day. Gibson was making incredible guitars, and it's an archtop guitar, so it has an arch top like a violin and an arched back. And yeah, these were the classic big band guitars of the 30s and 40s, and Eddie Lang played an L5 with similar guitar to this, very similar, and a bunch of the jazz guys did. Started off playing acoustic L5s, and Maybelle Carter played an L5.
Like that. Yeah.
With the Carter family.
It's an incredible condition for 1936.
Yeah,
That's like unbelievable.
Yeah, well, when I got it, it was in much disrepair, and Chris Marabella put it back together again. It has a little bullet hole over here, or something that resembles a bullet hole.
Wow.
The whole back was open on it. It needed much work.
Wow.
But even in that condition, I played one chord and I said, "Whoa!"
You just know.
You just know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you know the person who played it before you, or not much?
I know it was a friend of mine who had it before, but he didn't do anything with it because it needed work.
Right.
And so,
Okay.
yeah. I traded him a guitar amp for it, which he wanted. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was great.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it was a win-win.
It's a cool axe, man.
Yeah, they're great guitars. When I was on tour in Midwest, I was playing this guitar, and I went to the Gibson factory, which has been defunct since 1974 there. I guess in that zone, they started to move to Nashville in 74.
Right.
So anyway, so I got a picture of this guitar with the smokestack saying Gibson on it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, all the weeds around it.
Yeah.
Largely defunct there.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we are presenting to you a absolutely acoustic performance, and that is on purpose, partially dictated by environmental conditions, but also so you could hopefully experience this music in its most natural form whatsoever. And the next tune we're going to do is a song that Steve and I have been performing quite a lot. It comes from the songbook of Bobby Darin, but most notably the material that he was singing at the end of his career, which was of quite considerable contrast to the earlier music that he was known for as a Bobby Soxer legend, teen heartthrob, and then he morphed into the Sinatra crooner tuxedo wearing image. But at the end of his life, which is sad we didn't get to experience more, he was writing more than ever, composing more than ever. It had taken on a bit of a bluesy and folk trend, but still a connection to that big band tradition and where he had come from prior. But this is a tune he used to end a lot of his performances with towards the end of his career. It's a beautiful composition called The Curtain Falls. Off comes the makeup, off comes the clouds, the sky. The curtain's falling, the music softly dies. But I hope you're smiling as you're filing out the door. As they say in this biz, that's all there isn't any more. We've shared our moment, and as the moment ends, I've got a We're parting now as friends. Your cheers and laughter will linger after they've torn down these dusty walls. If I had this to do again, and the evening were new again, I would spend it with you again. But now the curtain falls. As the moment ends, I got a funny kind of feeling we're parting now as friends. Your cheers and laughter will linger after they've torn walls. People say I was made for this. Nothing else would I trade for this. And just think I get paid for this. But now the curtain falls. That's a tune, man.
That's a tune.
Gets me every time.
Written by a comedy writer.
Right? Isn't that something else? That
he wrote for Sanford and Sons and The Love Boat,
and they were good. They were good friends. Saul Weinstein, right?
Yeah,
Saul Weinstein. And they were good friends.
He
and
wrote this too.
Yeah. That's something else,
Yeah.
man. That's something else. Yeah. So we're gonna move on and play a song for you now. I believe this was written in 1979. I don't know why that year sticks with me, but I believe that was the year that this was written. And it was a composition by the great Duke Jordan, but was recorded by the wonderful, wonderful trumpet player and singer Chet Baker. And it's a tune that's called No Problem. So we're going to lay a little bossa nova on you. Cool too, right?
Yeah.
No problem. No problem. Duke Jordan.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
Lends itself to some chordal hydraulics in there, so I thought I'd put some in.
Quite inviting. Quite inviting. This next tune is a tune called "The Very Thought of You" that was written by Ray Noble, right? Am I correct in saying
That's right.
that? And Ray was a British composer. He was actually on the other side of the pond, and he wrote a tune called Cherokee that became a incredibly popular standard for bebop players in the late 40s and 50s. But what's really interesting about Ray Noble, if you dig into his recordings and his discography, the way the recording industry was set up back in the 30s and 40s, even into the 50s, really until, was it Capitol, I think, that merged with a British company. But there really were very separate recording labels, and what would be popular in America sometimes would cross over and be popular in England, but not always, and vice versa. So Ray Noble had these tunes that were huge hits in England that literally were like never heard here. They didn't get radio play, they didn't get any attention, and the same thing happened with some of his American tunes where they were, you know, huge hits here but never really played in England. So it's kind of interesting if you check out his entire catalog. You could find some gems that you say, man, how did I miss this one? Like Love Locked Out was,
I know, I was just thinking that. Yeah, he had his own group, so.
Right, yeah.
So they were.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. But this one was a big hit here, that's for sure. I know Nat King Cole recorded it, and so many other people did as well. It's called The Very Thought of You. It's a pretty little tune, right?
Great lyrics.
Great tune.
Yeah, great tune.
He was something else, man. He was really quite the writer, you know? So we're going to stick with a little bit of a Nat King Cole vibe for you, and this was a big hit for Nat right at the tail end of the decade of the 40s. And it's a tune that was written by Jay Livingston and Ray Evans. And it's a song that's called Mona Lisa, named after that iconic yet small painting that resides there in that little museum over in Paris. I'll never forget, man. I don't know about you. When I saw it,
I know.
I turned on. I was like,
Wow, that's pretty small.
"That is really." It's like, you know.
They got it encased in such glass too that you really have to.
Yeah.
And the lights are museum.
Right.
Low,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I was
so-
kind of blown away. I was
Yeah.
like, "What?
Yeah.
What?" Right about there.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun tune, man.
It's-
What a fun tune. Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So Steve and I were talking, and you were saying about how Bucky loved that guitar, right? That one time you
Yeah.
guys were hanging out.
Pizzarelli, yeah. Yeah, we were on a tour of, I was on a tour in the Midwest, a different tour, and we were playing at this festival, and Bucky was there with his band.
Right.
Yeah, and I was there with this guitar in a duo setting. you know.
Okay.
And Bucky heard that I had this guitar, and he wanted to play it. So there we are in the hotel lobby, and he played it in the lobby for an hour and a half.
Holy cow.
And he has so many great guitars, you know.
Yeah,
He has an L5, like similar to this one, and D'Angelicos, and Benedettos, and stuff. But he loved this guitar, so that's the one. So I would go to his concerts, and he would come to mine, and he was so great.
That's so
Miss
cool.
Bucky, man. Bucky was amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I used to bring him to work with my students at least once a year,
Beautiful.
and we'd do things together and whatnot. And I remember once I had him come, and he worked with my big band, and
Oh,
and he
really?
played with Benny Goodman a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So he came, and I had all these Benny Goodman transcriptions, and the kids were playing the daylights out of them,
Mhm.
man. I mean, we were spot on, and we had been studying recordings and all that. We're playing this tune, and and he was such a small guy, but as I'm sure you remember, sometimes the words were pretty minimal, and I remember the band played it, it's this high energy thing, and no one's there except for him,
Mhm.
the band finishes, and he's sitting there, kids are kind of looking at him, and I said, so Bucky, any comments for the kids on that? I know you played that with Benny a lot of times. He goes, yeah, sounds good. The kids were like,
That's encouraging.
sounds good, yeah. But I had found out that this next tune we're going to play for you was actually Bucky's favorite song. We recently lost Bucky, but he had an incredibly long-lived life, well into his 90s, an incredible career, and recording career, performing career, television career, you name it. But this old tune, going back to 1928, was his favorite to play. And it's written by a classic trio, Tin Pan Alley, sounds like a law firm, Shapiro, Campbell, and King. And it's a tune called If I Had You. Two, one, two, three, four. I could show the world how to smile. I could be glad all of the while. I could change the gray skies to blue if I had you. I could leave the old days behind, leave all my past, I'd never mind. I could start my life all anew if I had you. Now I could climb the snow-capped mountains, I could sail the mighty ocean wide. I could cross a burning desert if I had you by my side. I could be a king, dear, uncrowned, humble or poor, rich or renowned. There is nothing I couldn't do I could cross the snow-capped mountains. I could sail the mighty ocean wide. I could cross the burning desert, baby, if I had you by my side. I could be a king, dear, uncrowned. I could be humble or poor, in the middle class, rich or renowned. You know, there's nothing, not one gosh darn thing I couldn't do if I had you. Say now I could cross the snow-capped mountains, baby. There's nothing I couldn't do. Oh, there's nothing I couldn't do. There's nothing I can't do if I had you. If I had you. Man, the lyrics on that are just so cool. You can just write that in poetry, you know?
Sure is.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's
I
beautiful.
love that one. Yeah, I love that. Be a king, dear, uncrowned, humble or poor, rich or renowned. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
lyrics 101 at their best. You
So
know?
which one of the lawyers wrote that lyric?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's one of those tough ones. Some of those tunes are crazy. They have like 4, 5, 6 people.
I
It's
know.
like,
I wonder if they really all had a part in it.
I don't know. What do you say we do a little Cuban music?
Sure.
How about a little Asfaldo Fares? This
All right.
is a tune that Steve and I have done quite a bit. It's a tune called Tres Palabras. And Asfaldo Fares was by far one of the greatest Cuban composers of the 20th century. He was kind of like Cuba's George Gershwin or Cole Porter, if you will. And this is a beautiful, beautiful tune that we hope you enjoy. A little vamp up front.
Mm-hmm.
fun tune, right? That's a great tune.
Boy, he wrote so many wonderful tunes.
Great tune.
Yeah.
You know who we got to check out? We could give this as a teaser for the next concert, but the other guy I've been really hip to lately is Ernesto Brito. Do you know him?
What's the last name?
Brito.
No, I don't.
Younger than Osvaldo Farris,
Okay.
but tons of popular Cuban music in the 60s,
Okay.
50s and 60s. But man, he wrote some beautiful stuff that I've been checking out lately. And he wrote the words and the music too. He was a pretty accomplished lyricist too, so we got to check out some of his stuff. You know.
Okay.
Concert to come. Concerts.
Yeah.
Premonition of things to come. So we're going to close out this concert for you all, this wonderful acoustic concert with a tune called Indian Summer. And this was written by Victor Herbert and Al Dubin back in 1939. And it was actually a tune that the melody came first. It was actually a song that was popular as an instrumental, believe it or not, in 1919. And it existed for a while, and it was popular enough, but it was really when the lyrics were added in 1939 that it became a big hit and was a commercial success and recorded quite a bit. And also, quite notably, there was a wonderful duo album with the great guitarist Jim Hall and the flugelhorn and trumpet player Art Farmer that this appeared on. And it's kind of appropriate for the season we're in. It's called Indian Summer, kind of celebrating summer here. And some crazy weather, but summer nonetheless. I'm not sure when this concert will be aired for all you folks at the Sachem Public Library. It may not be summer, so if it's winter by the time you see this show, hopefully this song reminds you of summer. But we do hope that you enjoyed our music. We hope that was inspiring. My thanks to the amazing, incomparable Mr. Steve Salerno on the guitar.
Tom.
So Steve, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tom.
And
Appreciate
again, thank you to Sachem Public Library for all the online program they've been doing during this COVID season and for keeping the arts alive as best we can during this time. Hang in there, folks, and please don't forget to support your local libraries and not-for-profits, all these great institutions that are really working very hard behind the scenes to keep art and culture and inspiration alive for all of us, especially during these challenging times. So thanks to all of you, and we do hope to see you live sometime soon. Again, this is Steve Salerno on the guitar. My name is Tom Manuel. We're coming to you live, unplugged, acoustic from the Jazz Loft in Stony Brook Village, and we're going to leave you with Indian Summer. Right on it. 2, 1. Thank you so much, folks. We hope to see you soon. Take care, and God bless.